Hello everybody, Robin here, Toadstool Tarot, your local card curmudgeon. I got the Tarot of Mystical Moments from US Games. Comes in a sturdy box. The corners of mine were a little bit ragged, and the box also isn't quite deep enough to hold the cards and booklet. It sort of comes to the surface if you tend to want to store your booklet under your cards. The cards may slide off the edge, which they did with me. I bent the card carelessly when I was putting the lid back on. Luckily, I didn't put a permanent crease in it and was able to bend it back into shape, but prefer that the card box was a little deeper than it was, so I could do that. The card size is a little larger than usual tarot size. It's about 1/4 of an inch taller and about 1/2 an inch wider. The cardstock is pretty good, glossy. US Games is now putting their copyright on here more subtly. They haven't eliminated it completely, but here and here on the reversible card, if you get a magnifying glass out, you can see their copyright information. The deck came with silver edging on it, which I didn't care for, and also these were industrially stamped out cards, so the edges were really sharp. So I took an emery board and filed the edges, the silver edging off the cards, and along with it, the sharpness of those lips where they were cut out. And now I'm more comfortable with it. I have shuffled the deck and gone through it, so, these are not in order anymore, but you'll have a look-see. I had the Dream Keepers Tarot, which is very similar to this deck, in that they're both computer photo collaged from photographs, vintage photographs and illustrations. Very nice work. This one is a little brighter, cheerier. I mean, it's got some dark elements to it, but I would say the Dream Keepers has a darker, more shadowy feel than this deck. The images use different styles of illustration and photography, so it's not a flawless match for collage work, but it's done pretty well. It's a very pretty deck, almost too pretty if you ask me. And there's some of you will say, well, what's too pretty? Sometimes decks are just like too pretty or too glamorous or too perfect to feel like they want to be used. Like they'd almost do better to use as display cards on an altar, or single draw cards for the day, like an oracle that you might want to meditate on. Love the Six of Cups card. And I think probably this would work better in smaller spreads, like 3-card spreads, because the cards are large. And the imagery is so deep that you might want to dwell on these cards for a while, not be too overwhelmed by all the embedded symbolism that's here. Very kind of Freudian or Jungian, I guess. So here's the Death card. Very sort of romantic imagery, I suppose. Love this card, 8 of Cups. Love the Chariot here. Not often we see snails on cards. I tend to like snails and mushrooms on cards. Don't see either too often. That's a beauty. There are not many men in this deck. It is a fairly female-centric deck. In fact, the Four Kings and the Emperor, love this card, Knight of Pentacles. The Four Kings and Emperor also have female versions as well as bonus male cards. I've chosen the male cards for my deck, but I will show you the female cards at the end of the walkthrough. There is some ethnic representation, not a lot. Some of the images look a little more modern than others. There's a toadstool. The devil. The Hangman. I appreciate that they kept the labels, even though they use women on a lot of cards. They didn't change the labeling from the Hangman to the Hangwoman or the Hanged One. Even the kings, the female kings, are still called kings. Wheel of Fortune, interesting. The Hermit. So, and now we have, here's the Emperor, the female version of the Emperor. The King of Wands. King of Cups, King of Swords, and King of Pentacles. So those are the extra cards you can choose to, whether you want male or female emperors or kings. You've got a choice. So, I guess that just about covers it. The booklet has a paragraph with a description by the creator, Katrine Wells Stein, describing what's in the imagery and a little bit about how to read that. And then there are keywords for upright and reversed meanings for each card. No illustrations in here. Not a substantial book. I mean, I should say not an overwhelming book. It is a substantial book. And so there you have the Tarot of Mystical Moments. I think it was fairly reasonably priced. Not sure how much use I will make of it. Can't decide yet whether I prefer this or the Dream Keepers, or if either of them are, neither one are right at the top of my list at the moment, but they're up there pretty high. Let's say they're in the top 10. So that's pretty good. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. I hope I've covered all my curmudgeonly points. And I will see you all again soon. Bye.